What's up, everyone? Alex here, and this has been a while coming, hasn't it? So yeah, for those who have, you know, been living under a rock, you'll know that I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I love the movies, I love the character, and we've been under getting a bit of a Godzilla, boom as of late. The series got a resurgence with the 2014 American film, which despite everything is still a better Godzilla movie than the 1998 one. Then Toho rebounded with Shin Godzilla, and as of this year, we've gotten two Godzilla movies. The one of which about to review, and later this year, in May, we will be getting Godzilla King of the Monsters, the sequel to the 2014 film, which looks like it's going to be awesome. But in that intervening time, we've gotten an anime trilogy of movies from probably the last studio I actually wanted to do it, Polygon Pictures, who are known for Knights of Sidonia and a couple of other things. And while I wasn't too enthusiastic about the chosen studio, I was going to give him a chance. And about a year or two ago, we got Godzilla Planet of the Monsters, the first in that trilogy. And while it wasn't perfect, I liked it and thought it was a decent send-off. It was not a send-off, a decent first entry in this trilogy. And what won me over with this project when it was first started was the concept of Godzilla and all other monsters attacking and running humanity off of Earth. And thousands of years have passed with pretty much planet Earth taken over by all the kaijus and Godzilla reigning supreme. Sounds like a swell idea, right? And one that I thought was awesome. And the first film definitely showed off potential. And then the sequel happened, City on the Edge of Battle. It was a mess. A very boring mess. And now we've come to the new one, Planet Eater, and I can't say I hate it, but I can't say I liked it either. So, recap and retrospective for those who are just going into this. The first movie, Planet of the Monsters, takes place in Earth time 20,000 years ago. I'm getting lost. 20,000 years in the future. Excuse me. Pardon my. I am live after all. I don't exactly go by scripts. And, it follows this character called, oh crap. Now I forget his name. Haruo Sakaki. Yeah, Haruo. And, the movie first starts where all the Earthlings are taking off, and we get a background on what the premise is. The Earth is under attack by monsters. Other aliens come to join the party, of which they're both actually based on two previous alien races in the older movies, the Belasuudo, who are basically this series' version of the space men from the third planet of the black hole from the original Mecha Godzilla movie in 1974 and 75. 75 being Terror of Mecha Godzilla, and another group of aliens who are clearly based on the aliens from Planet X and Monster Zero, only both of which have completely different designs. And of course, the most powerful of which comes and is Godzilla and destroys, and nothing stops him, and it gets to the point where all of humanity and the two visiting alien races, of which there's not many of them left, hop onto a giant colony ship and lift off to Earth. And in Earth time, 20,000 years passed, and they've tried colonizing, going around trying to find whatever world they could colonize. It doesn't work, so they all come back to Earth. And in Earth time, 20,000 years have passed, and Taro is like the guy that wants to, take out Godzilla because he lost his parents in the attack way back when, and he's just burning with anger and vengeance to get at him. And that's pretty much what the first movie was. Just set up for him, and they, of course, attack and kill a Godzilla, but it's not the original one. And the movie ends with that one waking up, killing a lot of the search party, and then he's left. And then you have the sequel, City on the Edge of Battle, which, oh my god, spent far more time philosophizing in character development. Now, that is not in itself a bad thing, but that's all they do, to the point that really nothing happens. And what also hurt that movie was the false marketing, in which they set up Mecha Godzilla being, the rival monster to Godzilla in that movie, and they don't do anything with it. Like, it's the worst in the trilogy. Honestly, it really is. It was with the end of that one where my expectations for number 3 just went down. Like, it ends with it's literally the plot of the first movie just on slow-mo. They lose Mecha Godzilla, or what remains of it, which apparently turned into a city because it's made of nanometal by the space apes this time. And one of the characters becomes corrupted by the magic metal, or whatever it is. We do meet survivors of, or rather humanoids that evolved during the 20,000 year intervening period, 2 of which are based on the Mothra twins. And now we have this one where they've built up, even in the second one, Ghidorah. And yeah, it's not, in my opinion, as good, if not better, than the first movie. But I don't know if I hate it either. Confused, disappointed, contemplated. I mean, it's barely the City on the Edge of Battle, but just barely. And it is certainly different in the fact that it has a lot of mind fuckery going on, as well as the wax philosophizing. It's unlike the last movie where Godzilla pretty much just slept through the whole thing. He's definitely awake more in this movie than he was in the last one. But unlike the first movie, he's pretty much glued to one spot in the whole thing and barely does anything. And in the end, for that matter, the whole changing him into a plant-based organism really amounts to nothing. They don't do anything with it. Eventually, other than the servums, which are the flying lizard bat monsters, which after the first movie barely amount to anything ever, turns out pretty much all the other life on Earth is not related to Godzilla anyway, so what was the point? Like, you literally created something that's supposed to be a vegetative version of Shin Godzilla, but you don't do anything with it. And a lot of what they have him do in this movie could have been done with even a regular reptilian Godzilla, just upscaled. I mean, he looks cool. A lot of the stuff he does throughout the movies is cool. But other than the rare light show, they don't do anything with him. He's just pretty much there, to the point that it's disappointing, honestly. And even in this movie, where what they give us for him to supposedly fight, well, yeah. And as for what he is supposed to fight in this movie, it was King Ghidorah, who, of course, will be in King of the Monsters later this year. And I both like and hate this version of Ghidorah. Now, the first movie, of course, just had both Godzillas. The one that was destroyed, the younger one destroyed in the first movie, and of course the big one, Godzilla Earth. Second movie had Mechagodzilla, which they don't even do with. It's just a head with a city formed around it. And even then, even if they did put it back together, which they honestly should have by the movie's own logic, right? With the nano self-repair metal, the design for Mecha Godzilla is really hideous. Whereas now for Ghidorah, like I said, I both hate and like it. What do I like about it? I like the premise of him being this omnipotent, interdimensional space devil. Kind of, he's like a Godzilla version of a Chaos God from Warhammer 40,000, or and combined with the planet-eating, planet-destroying, whatever. It's like a mix of the old one with Marvel's Galactus. And he's a bit Lovecraftian too, since honestly, the setup for Ghidorah was really the best part about him, especially in the scene where Metfis finally reveals his true colors and starts sacrificing fellow crew members to the monster, and they all get like eaten, I guess you could say. Like, it shows the shadows of the heads coming out of a flame, and everyone dies. They got the Ghidorah Kool-Aid, more or less. And all that was well and good. But then Ghidorah himself shows up, and yeah, the design is just wretched. I don't like it. And we don't even get a fight with him. All it amounts to is just 3 very long energy glowing yellow heads coming out of black holes in the sky, and they just latch onto Godzilla to try and, I guess, leech him of energy, and in doing so, eat the planet. You know what? They never properly explain that. Honestly, they don't. So, is he eating Godzilla, who's bonded to the planet? Does he have more energy? Yeah, they don't explain it. They say so many things, but at the same time, they don't say anything. So it's hard to pinpoint what the point of Ghidorah even was in this movie, what the goal even was, other than he eats planets. But he's attacking Godzilla, so I don't know. And again, all he does is wrap around, and they should have done it in phases where maybe you have Ghidorah do the whole leeching Godzilla thing at first, but then when the control or whatever gets broken, the rest of him comes down. That would have been a far more better ending, where you have the rest of Ghidorah come down with his wings and twin tails, and you have him and Godzilla Earth duke it out. That would have been a better fight than what this ultimately was. Hell, I wouldn't even call it a fight. Ugh. And Mothra does spoiler alert for this whole movie, by the way, including, for the other ones. Yeah, Mothra does appear in this movie, but it's more of a glorified cameo than anything else, and just amounts to aiding the characters spiritually than actually being there. Yeah, everyone complains about Godzilla 2014 not showing enough. Yeah, watch these movies and leave that movie the hell alone, because they completely botched it with this one. And apparently, Toho, in their infinite wisdom, told everyone that for these trilogy movies, they wanted an excess focus on the human characters. And I'm fine with developing the characters, but they also went in with the caveat of don't focus on monster battles. What? Why would you do that? Because you're pretty much robbing us of partly of what we all want to go see the movies for anyway, right? Giant monsters and battling each other. Now, Godzilla movies, of course, live and thrive by their pathos, and the best ones do that. But the problem with this one is that it doesn't balance them well enough. It doesn't at all. To the point that they're pretty much bored throughout the whole thing. And really, the best aspects of Planet Eater, and by extension, the first two, are the characters and themes. Like Haruo, he starts off as angry, all gung ho, but as the trilogy continues, he does mellow out and become a much more better written character. And the themes around, and especially in this movie, being that the growth of human progress and civilization and warfare, of course, birthed the monsters and drew attention to themselves. But it's not balanced enough, since the majority of the film is basically everyone, the kaiju included, standing in one spot, wax philosophically. Yeah, the humans do run around here and there, but they're mostly just wax philosophizing, and the action, if you could even call it that, is going at slower than a snail's pace. Honestly, if you a freaking GMK, Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack from 2001, did monster battles and themes and wax philosophizing way better than these three movies did. 2001 and still better at it. Seriously, Toho, you gotta get Shusuke Kaneko to come back, because the man knew how to make a good film. And as for the animation, yeah, what animation? Again, everything just stands in the same place throughout the damn movie. The visuals are decent. It is a cool looking movie to look at, but there's no motion to any of it. Again, because everything, I hate to keep saying it, but because there's everyone, monsters included, are literally glued to the same spot throughout the movie, it's not worth it. Again, Planet of the Monsters actually was way better than both this and the other one, because there was actual motion to it. And for an animated Godzilla project, why would you do that? Why would you have everything be in the same spot, and under that modus operandi of no monsters battling, you pretty much wasted a golden opportunity. Why the fuck would you make Godzilla movies for anime, but don't do anything with them? This is why I've long wanted Godzilla on anime, not just because it would be something new and refreshing, but you could do more with it. You could do so much more than what you could have gotten away with on live action format. But instead, you just had the characters wax philosophizing so much, the point that it drags out, and the monsters don't do much of anything, to the point that nothing's happening. You wasted it. Like, you Polygon, Toho, you failed. You failed miserably. On a plus side, if you could even call it that, I can't exactly say this movie failed in what it advertised. Unlike the last movie, where they advertised hand and foot of Mechagodzilla. There's just gonna be a battle of Mechagodzilla. Hey, here's the complete design for him. Well, they didn't chicken it out completely with this one, but even that's not saying much. I mean, if anything, Planet of the Monsters had more action than this movie and the last one combined. Ugh, Planet of the Monsters just had action by default. You can't even argue the other way. Ugh. Just by the sheer fact that that movie actually moved, it's the best one just in general. While it's not anger inducing like the last one, I can't say I liked it either, because it ends the anime trilogy on a whimper. and rather than a glorious bang. And a whimper is really the word, because this trilogy started off with a good bang, but then whimpered along to it just ends, leaving me, especially me, very hollow.